death, rape, murder, incest, the Holocaust, 9/11. Surely, if there was a good God, he wouldn't allow such things to happen, right? That's what the atheist would have us to believe, but there are three flaws in the reasoning. The first has to do with who's responsible for death, rape, murder, incest, the Holocaust, and 9/11. My father was fond of sharing wise sayings. One of them was, every tub sits on its own bottom. And that raises the first flaw in the atheist argument. A good God wouldn't allow such evil to happen. The evil we see in the world today is man's doing, not God's. God did not kill Abel. The man Cain did. God did not gas 6 million Jews. Man did. God did not fly the planes into the Twin Towers. Man did. And God does not break up marriages. Man does. And we could go on and on. But if there's a good God, he could stop all the evil in the world, and yet obviously he doesn't. That gives rise to the second flaw in the atheist's reasoning that maintains a good God would not allow evil. For atheists fail to recognize that God created man with a free will. Yes, he could stop every evil intention and action in the world, but to do so, he would have to strip man of his free will. Now, granted, God could have done that. He could have made human beings like robots, but he didn't. Nor would anyone, even our atheists, choose to be stripped of their free will. But if man has a free will, then he may exercise it for good or bad. And given the innate selfishness of man, more times than not, he opts to choose the bad. Ultimately, that, not God, brings about the pain they and others suffer. The pain and suffering in this world then comes not from God, but from man, to whom God has given a free will. Blaming God for what man does may be popular in today's culture, but it's a poor argument when it comes to proving that God is to blame for not stopping the pain and suffering that man brings into the world as he exercises his free will. The third flaw in the atheist argument that a good God would not allow evil is a failure to recognize that oftentimes what we call evil actually brings about a higher good. Imagine, if you will, a bear in a trap and a hunter who, out of sympathy, wants to liberate him. He tries to win the bear's confidence, but he can't do it. So he has to shoot the bear full of drugs. The bear, however, thinks this is an attack, that the hunter is trying to kill him. He doesn't realize that this is being done out of compassion. Then, in order to get the bear out of the trap, the hunter has to push him further into the trap to release the tension on the spring. If the bear were semi-conscious at this point, he would be even more convinced that the hunter was his enemy who was out to cause him suffering and pain. But the bear would be wrong. He reaches this incorrect conclusion because he is not a human being. Question: how can anyone be certain that's not an analogy between us and God? Could it not be that God does the same sometimes, and we simply can't comprehend why he does it any more than the bear can understand the motivations of the hunter? But this truth remains. As the bear could have trusted the hunter, so can we trust God. Would a good God allow mankind, to whom he has given a free will, to experience the pain and suffering he brings upon himself? To those who say God wouldn't, we say, maybe God would.